Hello, new souls, here with another message. This is more of something that I have been, or I just find myself asking, a lot, especially lately, what I've been seeing, in others, and others is like beliefs, or the way that they see the world, they see God. But yeah, so the question that keeps coming to mind is, why do others blame God? Just why do they always blame God instead of, facing the truth? They blame God. Instead of taking accountability, they would rather blame God. And that is, part of the ego. That is part of the narcissistic side of the ego. And that side of the ego doesn't take accountability. That part of the ego needs to be healed. You need to heal that part. That does come with the shadow work and self-reflection and taking that accountability. So that need, changing that need for control, and the lack of self-reflection. One would rather blame God than see their own faults. And through God's word, God has given us all the tools to navigate this world, to navigate through the world, through this earth, so that we have dominion over our suffering, over our life. And but that is once we stop blaming God, because that is us lacking accountability. We need to stop blaming God. So once we stop blaming God and take accountability for our own faith and for our own actions, a lot of people want God to show them, to prove to them, that He's real. But why don't you show God, what you can do for Him? You expect all this, but what have you done for God? And why should God give you the world? So instead of asking, you should show God, why He should give you the world. God ultimately knows. He sees it. He sees Himself in others. He sees who truly lives for Him. Who has that Godfidence, who has that faith in God. So God sees it all. He sees those who have it. He sees it in you. He sees it in others, and He sees it lacking. He sees it lacking in others. So we must show Him. So instead of blaming God, you should show Him, and honor Him, and remember Him, and talk to Him, and it's all, we are all a reflection of God, or of something else, that is not God. So yeah, we must, always honor Him and trust in God, the Creator, and most importantly, be the one that God can trust, you know, and show him that he can trust in you, you know. So that's basically the message is, you know, stop blaming God, you know, take accountability, self-reflect, and, you know, create your own faith. You know, you have to actually believe, you know, without seeing. You must, you know, see it in the spirit instead of in this 3D world. Just because you don't see something happening in this 3D world, or things are happening, you know, the way that you know, you don't want things to happen, it doesn't mean that you should automatically blame God. You know, it's more within and what you are doing, you know, or what you are not doing. So instead of blaming God, you need to, you know, kill that part of the ego, that narcissistic side, you know, that lack of faith, that lack of accountability, and you know, surrender the need, you know, for control. You know, you have to be the one that he can trust in. He can trust in, you know, be the one that God can trust in, most importantly. You know, because God as well, you know, he was betrayed. And that just, you know, are you gonna keep, you know, betraying God, or are you, you know, going to do the work for God here on earth? You know, you expect all this, but are you doing anything for God? You know, you want God to have you, you know, but do you got God? You know, do you got his back? You know, and that's pretty much it. You know, stop blaming God and start taking accountability, and, you know, for your faith and for your own actions or lack of actions, you know, what you are doing or what you are not doing, you know, and show him that he can trust you. Be that person that trusts in God and that God can trust in. You know, and I pray that you do, okay? Pray that we all can become, you know, somebody that God can trust in. You know, that is all. Thank you, new souls.